Hey everybody, Steve here from The Varied Life, and again we're starting off with another video. Today is a 2 for Tuesday, because it's Tuesday here in Korea, and what we're doing is we're talking about expats retiring overseas and some of the benefits of that. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the retiring in Korea versus a 10-year retirement in Thailand visa. There's a handful of people that have contacted me and said, hey, well, why didn't you go to Thailand? Thailand is a big retirement destination for people in the United States, Australia, Europe. I mean, it's one of the places to go. And we have been to Thailand, and we went to, one night in Bangkok. We did that, and we saw a bunch of temples. Then we went down to Phuket. Really want to go back to see places like Chiang Mai and things like that to really get a better look at the expat side of things instead of just the tourist side. But with that, some people have been wondering, what's the difference between the income requirements for Thailand for like that 10-year retirement visa versus what we pay here in Korea. And so we're going to go over some of that. Part of the reason that we retired here in Korea is one, because my wife has Korean ancestry. So I was over here as a GI, looked across the room, and at first glance it was love at first sight. And we courted and dated, and I had to ask her parents' permission for marriage and the whole 9 yards. It was a pretty wild thing. And we've been together ever since for the last, we're coming up on 35 years now? Yeah, it's been a minute. So coming back, that was part of it. We looked at Thailand, we looked at some other places, but it just didn't really click. And so we figured, well, what we'll do is we'll retire to Korea because we have that option. And the income requirement was not as steep as some other places. So with that, we said, okay, our home base is going to be Korea, and then we can go check out Thailand or Bali or a number of other places. And at worst case scenario, we just go on a bunch of cool vacations and we stay in Korea. Something else happens and we find a better place, we might just dip from Korea and retire in another location, or maybe just for a few years. We don't know. So anyway, that's what we're talking about today, is the difference between the two. But I want to go over some of the information on the Thai visa, the 10-year visa. And once again, I'm not showing up on the thing, but we can fix this because I can put myself right there. So this is from the Thai consulate in Vancouver, Canada, and we're talking about the non-immigrant visa retirement, the OX retirement visa, which is a 10-year visa. So anyway, this visa is pretty nice, and what we can end up seeing, let's see if we can make this a little bigger for y'all. It's for applicants who are 50 years old or older and wish to stay in Thailand for a period not exceeding 10 years without the intention of working. Kind of sounds familiar. Holder of this visa is allowed to stay in Thailand for 5 years, and then you do a renewal and you could do another 10 years. Employment of any kind is strictly prohibited. Now, the employment that they're talking about is working for a Thai employer. So in other words, you can't work for somebody in Thailand who is from Thailand. If you do remote work from the United States, you're getting paid from somebody in the United States and not Thailand. So just to make that clarification. So the eligibility of some of this is the applicants must be 50 years old or older on the day of submitting your application. So that's kind of good, because a lot of us that are interested in retiring overseas are 50 years old and older. So, with that, it's not bad. Applicants must be nationals and passport holders from Japan, Australia, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States. So if you belong to one of those, you can be in the club. You must apply for your visa at the Royal Thai Embassy or consulate in the country that you reside or where you have permanent residence. So example, we are residents here in Korea, so if we changed our mind and we said, you know what, we want to retire and we want to do this 10-year visa, we would use the Thai consulate here in Korea. But if you're from the United States or whatever home country, you would do that. here is the rub. Applicants must have a bank deposit of no less than 3 million baht or a bank deposit no less of 1.8 million baht and an income of less than 1.2 million. So, how much is 3 million baht? Well, what we can see here is that's about $89,000. So that's a big chunk of change to put down onto, a retirement visa. To put into a bank account, that's kind of a little rough. Or you could do a bank deposit of no less than 1.8 million baht and an annual income of 1.2, which basically comes out to the same thing. 1.8 is about 53,000, and your 1.2 million baht is about $36,000. The amount must be maintained in the bank deposit in full for at least 1 year and keep no less than 1.5 million baht in that account thereafter. So yeah, they're going to take your money, they're going to hold it, they're going to make interest on it. They're, through fiat banking, they're going to loan money. That it's a whole thing. But yeah, there's that. The other thing, you have to have Thai health insurance or the equivalent. I think there's a lot of people that are in Thailand that use the TRICARE Overseas Select, and that's a good exception. That will fill the requirements for that health insurance. And the coverage of outpatient treatment, no less than 40,000 baht, and inpatient treatment, no less than 400,000. Applicants must not be prohibited from entering the kingdom as provided by the immigration. In other words, you can't be a dirtbag. Criminals with no criminal history. Imagine that. What are the odds? Applicants with no criminal history in the country, and of course, you have a background check. You can't have any prohibited diseases like leprosy, tuberculosis, drug addiction, elephantiasis, third phase of syphilis. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's usually what a lot of people get when they go to Thailand. But we're not talking about the sex tourism trade. We're talking about mature and civil adults that want to retire and not get involved in bar girls and all that crazy stuff. So that's kind of an easy one for the majority of us. The validity of the visa, you're looking at 5 years from the issue date, and then you can extend it for another 5 years, which, that's not bad. But having to put down $89,000 in the bank and then have 1.5, which is, what was that end up being? Around $50,000, maintain that through the duration of your stay. That's kind of a chunk of change for a lot of people. So travelers, you're permitted to stay in Thailand for 5 years and each time for a total, and it's a multi-entry exit visa, so you can come and go and all that stuff. And you go through and you have all these documents here, bank statements from Thailand financial institutes only, so there's special banks that you can go to and do that. We see some other information, no criminal records, medical, health insurance, all of that stuff. And then for those people in Canada, it's going to cost you about $650. Maybe in the United States, it's going to be a little bit less, maybe $550, somewhere around there. So yeah, there's some good information here, but for that's kind of a steep chunk of change. And now for us, what we ended up doing, it was kind of like, I don't know if I want to do that or not. It's not something that I want to do as far as like put down such a huge chunk of money. And coming to Korea, I didn't have to do that. Matter of fact, we just had to have our income verification, produce some federal tax forms and show summaries of a couple years of bank statements and our pensions and so on and so forth, and we were good to go. And the income requirement wasn't bad. There was no minimum income, or no minimum deposit for a Korean bank account. So that's money that we didn't have to come up with and put into the bank and not have accessible to us. The other reason mainly was because my wife's family's here, and we're real familiar with Korea. We're not familiar with Thailand, and so that was kind of our reasoning behind it. But I would say on the outset, a 10-year visa is probably good. but do you really want to tie up that amount of money? And if you have that amount of money, I mean, we could have, we had the funds to do that. But then again, it's like, it just, I don't know. So it is what it is. If you're good with that, with all things being equal, and you don't really mind whether you're going to Thailand or whether you're going to Korea, let's say your Korean spouse just says, no, there's no way, I don't want to go to Korea, let's go to Thailand, then that's a perfectly viable option. But for some people, they're like, yeah, that's a little bit too expensive. Well, there's some other things that you can end up doing. So we're going to take a look at this here of retirement in Thailand. And get me back in the frame here. The retirement visa, and that is small again, but we'll make it big. And this is from embassy.com, the Thaiembassy.com. Retirement visa, step-by-step guide, which is pretty nice. And again, 50 years older for retirement visa. This isn't the OX retirement visa. This is a little bit different. So in other words, you're going to be applying for this Category O visa. You're going to have kind of the same thing, the passport, proof of accommodation, bank statement showing proof of fund, your health insurance, nationality, country of residence, and, all of that stuff. Apply at the Thai Embassy abroad or in the immigration office in Thailand, and you can get a 1-year Thai retirement visa extension. So it's a non-immigrant O extension requirements, and again, here are the things here, proof of income, income certificate from the Embassy of Thailand, Thai bank book showing the deposit amount which you have to have, and a letter from the Thai bank, certificate that must be signed by a bank official, and then you have your passport photos in the last 6 months, and proof of permanent accommodation in Thailand as a lease or a rental agreement, so on and so forth. Medical certificates and criminal record certificates are not required for the retirement visa application process completed inside of Thailand. So if you did a little bit of dirt in your day and you're kind of worried, you might want to do this visa instead of the other one. Talks about re-entry stuff and single entry re-entry permits, sometimes mistaken for each other, extension of stay. There's two different things. Extension of stay is simply the controlling date of your period of stay. Everything else is dependent upon this. And extension of stay is usually valid for 1 year. On the other hand, re-entry permits validity is subject to the validity of your extension of stay. It comes with two options, basically. And it's a single entry is 1,000 baht, multiple entries is 3,800 baht. And you can do the math and figure out how much that is, but it doesn't sound like it's much. Reporting your stay for every 90 days and the visa expiration. This was another thing, a little bit of the bureaucracy that, I mean, you retire overseas, you have to do things the way they want you to do it. I mean, that's just how it is. But for every 90 days, you have to go and renew and update and say, yeah, I'm still alive, I'm still doing this. That's kind of like a pain in the butt. We talked about renewals of our visa here in Korea, where my initial F1-9 visa was a 1-year term, and then we're able to extend it to get 2 years. So now I only have to do it every 2 years to go and update and say, yes, I'm alive, we're still living, we're still here. Here's the form, and boom, we're good to go. Then it's good for another 2 years. Yeah, I guess if you got used to updating, and I guess they do this online as well, and there's local immigration offices that can help you out, but that just seems like another hurdle that you have to jump, and that's not something that we wanted to do. Not saying that that's a bad thing, and if you should listen to me on this and say, oh, well, Steve said we shouldn't go to Thailand because we have to report every 90 days. No, if you get used to doing it, it's not a big deal. And if they do it online, and from what I've heard, that is an option, and there have been some hiccups, and then there's other people who haven't had any problems. So immigration offices do all of that for them, and you pay a small fee and you're good to go. So yeah, it's just a thing to renew your extension stay after each 90-day entry. Yeah, it's just kind of a thing. So once you do all this, you are now a holder of a 1-year extension of non-immigrant visa for retirement purposes. Health insurance is not required, but the applicant must have applied within Thailand for the visa to be exempt from insurance requirements. So there's something, a little loophole that some people might not have known that I noticed by going through a bunch of these websites from the Thai government. And if you apply within Thailand, you're exempt from the insurance requirement. But in all honesty, I wouldn't think that would be a good idea. You know, if you're retiring overseas, you're probably going to be older like me or older than me, however that works. And you're going to need some health insurance because everybody gets sick and everybody's going to get worse than what they are now later in life. And so health insurance would be a good thing. The other interesting thing, I was talking with a gentleman who was talking about health insurance in Thailand, that there's a cap of 70 years old, and then you're on the hook for, you have to pay your own way. So looking through for health insurance that meets the requirement of Thailand, that's another hurdle that you're going to have to jump, which is absolutely fine. But just be aware that you're going to have these hurdles, and that's half the battle. You don't want to go to Thailand or any other country, not research and study and find out, well, I need to do this, A, B, C, and D, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you get there, and all of a sudden you find out you have to do all this hurdle jumping, and you're like, I don't like hurdles. Seriously, that can put a damper on your retirement, or it can cause you some angst and frustration. So anyway, yeah, there is that thing that you could end up doing, meeting the financial requirements for a requirement visa, and $800,000 with this 1-year visa, or a monthly income of at least $65,000. So $80,000 in the bank for this 1-year visa, and that comes out to about $24,000. And the other one is $65,000 baht per month for your living expenses. And what we end up seeing here, that's basically about $2,000 a month. So yeah, it's that's the thing of what we got going on for the monthly requirements. Now, how does that differ from here in Korea? In Korea, what we ended up doing is that we had to meet the gross national income, so kind of like the average income of a Korean. And at the time, we're making less than $60,000 at the time that we did our thing. And yeah, it was absolutely fine. We just had to show that I had my military pension and some other monies. Had to show that we, deposits and our savings and other funds that we had. And it was absolutely fine. And so I think under the wife's F4 visa, as being a returning Korean, they're a little bit less stringent than somebody who is a foreigner who's trying to retire in Korea, and those income requirements are a little bit higher. But for a retirement visa in Korea, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars to be able to do that, and you have to invest a certain amount of funds in Korea. So again, it just comes down to the place of people like you and me, the normal everyday people, who don't have a lot of income or a ton of money. Yeah, you're probably not going to be doing that, and that's why Korea is known as not being a retirement-friendly destination. So with that, the wife being Korean ancestry, me being married to her as her spouse, being able to get my F1-9 visa, her with her F4. I cannot work while I'm in Korea. My wife can if she wanted to, but she doesn't. and we're comfortable. And if you think about it, we bought our apartment, and so that cut out the largest expense that we had for living is our housing. So really, the reduced amount of money that we have when we purchased our apartment, we're saving money every month. We're saving a couple $1,000s every month. So yeah, it kind of depends. Some people like living on the edge, and it's like, I have just enough to make it and maybe save 50 or $100, and you're comfortable with that. God bless you. Rock on. We're of the mindset where it's like, yeah, we want to save a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And, we're very comfortable. We're, in our opinion, we've got our apartment, a car, we can shop for food, we can go out, we can have a good time, it's hit the gym, 3 days a week or whatever, and take the wife out on dates and all that. And, it's some good stuff. So we're happy with our lifestyle here. And again, it comes down to what is your lifestyle and what is your budget. Those are two vastly different things. And I'll have people that'll say, well, I want to be able to retire in Seoul, in Gangnam. And it's like, have you even looked at the prices of rental real estate there? It's insane. And your budget is how much? Your budget's down here, but your taste in what you want is here. There's a huge gap between there. So, you need to figure that out on your own. But anyway, this whole thing with Thailand is, it's not bad. You can find out from a Thai consulate, or if you're interested about going to a Korean consulate to finding out if you have a Korean spouse who was a Korean national and now she's an American citizen or whatever, you can go for that F4 and F1 visa. Let's see some other long-term options for Thailand. So let's take a look at that there. I'll kind of boost that up. Other long-term visa options for Thailand has a lot of long-term visa options. There's a visa tailored for individuals married to Thai nationals. Offers to extend stay in Thailand, fostering family reunification and cultivation of shared life experiences in the kingdom. And then they have the long-term visa, customized for select categories aimed at fostering overseas investment and driving economic development. That's kind of a bigger thing. Grants holders privilege to reside and work up in Thailand for up to a decade with a bunch of different benefits and yada, yada, yada. And then there is the Thailand Elite Visa, and we'll take a look at that. Well, let's go on to this first one, the long-term visa, resident visa, and having an application fee of 50,000 baht. Those who are interested will be able to pay a one-time fee of 50,000 for a 10-year stay in the land of smiles. I didn't know that. And who is eligible? Again, we're talking about high-income foreign individuals, foreign retirees, foreigners intending to work remotely from Thailand, or foreign professionals with special skills. And that is a 10-year visa. This means those who seek a digital nomad lifestyle can apply for this visa for 10 years as long as you meet the requirements. What are the requirements? High income. That just hits you hard right there. You got to have health insurance policy of no less than 50,000 USD, remaining full coverage of savings of at least 100,000 USD held in a Thai or overseas bank account for no less than 12 months before the date of application. Again, some hurdles that if you really want to do this, you should know ahead of time. High earners must have proof of personal income of at least 80,000 annually during the period of 2 years prior to the application date. That's a huge chunk. I know some people that are in this category and beyond it, but I know a lot more people that are in my income bracket, which is significantly lower. And then it also says you must have at least $1 million in assets in the United States. Must have an investment of at least 500,000 in the Thai government bonds, foreign direct investment, or Thai property. I don't know if that Thai property can be your own, but 500 grand, that's some tough stuff. High income retirees, that's why they're smiling. They have high income. Talks about the same thing, personal income between 40,000 to 80,000 a year. You must have 250 invested in government bonds, foreign direct invest, or Thai property. And then it talks about working professionals, and again, kind of the similar thing, personal income minimum of 80,000 a year for the last 2 years, between 40 and 80,000 for the last 2 years. Applicant must have a master's degree or own intellectual property. Again, we're talking people that are way outside the demographic that we're talking about here, like normal people, you and me. Foreign experts, we're not going to go over that. Those are like the really smart people. And yeah, so there's, in this long-term visa thing, there's definitely a lot more involved with that and a lot more money. which can be a deterrent for some people. But the good thing is with Thailand, there's a lot of different options. So you could do the 1-year retirement visa, you could do the 10-year, you could do the long-term visa, or what you can end up doing is the Thailand Elite visa. Now this is another one that's kind of an interesting little thing here, because it's kind of a tiered system of visas that you pay for ahead of time. And some people have asked me about this, so I looked into this information. And you can get this Thailand Elite visa for a period of 5, 10, 15, or a 20-year package, which says it's only available via invitation. So in other words, you got to have a lot of money, you got to know somebody, whatever it is, depending on the chosen package and the exchange for a membership fee. The fee, the fees and taxes, we're going to get you with those things. The Thai Elite 5-year visa, let's make this a little bit larger so people can actually read this, is renewable multi-entry visa with an extendable 1-year stay, length of stay per each entry. The Thailand Elite visas, the Thailand Elite visa holder can have an uninterrupted stay in Thailand without the usual need to leave the country every 90 days, as with other types of visas. You can have privilege points and blah, 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 card holders, expedited at immigration, passport control processing when arriving in Thailand. It's a thing, but you're going to pay for that thing. And basically, there are the requirements. You have to have a foreign passport. You got to have applicants under 20 years of age must provide parental authorization. You can't have been in prison. You can't have not have been adjudicated bankrupt, not have been declared a person of unsound mind or incompetence or quasi-incompetence. That rules out a lot of people in the United States who are voting. We won't go into that. And the membership can take 1 to 3 months. Now, here's where it comes in, the cost. They're going to get you. And the cost as follows. The Thailand Gold membership is good for 5 years, 5-year multi-entry visa, costs 90,000 baht with no annual fee. So 900,000 baht, let's see how much that comes out to. So 900,000, that's about 26,000, which that's not too bad. And provides 20 privilege points per year. Elite members can apply at any age. Now this is kind of interesting because usually countries will have retirement visas when you hit like 50 years old or older. And so a lot of people that are younger than that, my timer. The print is done. But with this allows the younger people, the smarter younger people who have money and did smart things with money and have money now, they can do this for the cost of 900,000 won, and there's no age restrictions. So some countries have age limits or minimum age that you have to be to enjoy those retirement visas. Thailand does not. Then we have the Platinum, which is good for 10 years. And it costs 1.5 million baht with no annual fee. And it costs 1 million baht for additional applicants. So if there was you and your spouse, you're looking at 2.5 million baht. So let's put 2,500,000. So you're looking at about $74,000 on that, and you get privilege points. I'm not sure what the privilege points are. I'm totally clueless on that because I was kind of deterred from the price of these. Thailand Visa Diamond membership, 15-year membership duration, 2.5 million for the main applicant, and then 1.5 for each additional applicant. So that's not bad there if you have the money. So, and you get more privilege points. So apparently it's kind of like, Amazon points or whatever, and then, I don't know, you get a free shake or, boba tea or something. So now they have the 20-year one, and after 20 years up, you can reapply for another 5-year visa. This is 5 million baht with no annual fee. Provides 120 points, only available to applicants via invitation. So in other words, if you did well and you did a number of these other visas, elite visas, you would probably make the grade and be able to get that. So yeah, it's kind of a thing, and there's the elite visas. Some people like this because of the fees, and you pay, and you're 10 years, and you're done, which kind of makes sense. You don't have to renew every 90 days and say, yeah, I'm alive, I'm living here, even if you have to do it online and just a few mouse clicks away. That's not bad, but some people don't want to deal with that. And if they could pay to play and they pay that large amount of money and it's good for 10 years, that could have some high value for some people. So, there's the good thing is with Thailand, there's a lot of different options for retirement with different income levels. So that's why you have a lot of people retiring in Thailand. The acceptance, you have the elite visa, which is a fixed, and so you're part of the group, kind of and this is from the thaiembassy.com. So you can check out that on the Thailand elite visa, which is really nice, and you can get some other options. But for people that were wondering why did we not choose Thailand and why did we choose Korea, well, it's because of the wife's family were more comfortable with being here in Korea versus Thailand, and we figured Korea would be a good jumping off spot. This would be a good home base for us. But for the people that are asking, what was the difference between that 10-year retirement visa and what are the income requirements? Yeah, hands down, the Korea income requirement was it was less than 2 years of the GNI, the gross national income. And like I said, when we got here a couple of years ago, of course, it's based on the previous year's GNI, so that kind of fluctuates. So what you pay now would be different than what we paid, and so on and so forth, because of cost of living and increases and so on and so forth. But yeah, we're doing pretty good, and we're comfortable with where we're at. A number of other people that we know who did what we did, they get their apartment, they got a place to live, they got a car, they're comfortable, they're all set up, their apartment's all decked out. They've settled in, and they were able to relax and enjoy their retirement here in Korea. And again, a lot of these people are looking at taking trips not only in Korea, but to other neighboring countries as well. But for the guy John who asked me what were the differences between that 10-year visa versus retiring in Korea, what we did with the F1 and the F4 visa and the income requirements, boom, we hit that. And we also hit the immigrant or the non-immigrant 1-year visa. And then we went over, some of the other things, and then finally did the Thailand elite visa system, which you're going to pay some coin. Pay that coin to the Witcher, and you can stay in Thailand for those long periods of time and get some of those benefits and those points. I'm not sure what those points are. If you know what those points are, privilege points for the Thailand elite visa, put them in the comment section down below. I would like to know. I'm going to look and find out and see what those are. I don't know, maybe they're worth something. Could be. But that's what we got going on. The other thing I want to do is just kind of finish up this video here and talk about how if you enjoy the information that we put out or that I put out, my wife is behind the scenes. She's the better half of me and then some, and keeps me on course. But if you've learned anything from this or you appreciate the information that I put out in our journey, how we got our visas, shopping for apartments, exchanging our driver's license from U.S. driver's license to a Korean driver's license, all of that can be found on our Facebook page, not Facebook page, but the YouTube page, The Varied Life. And some people have bought me coffee. So we have these awesome people right here, Fred, Mike, Jim, John, and Kyung Sun, who have bought me coffees and appreciated the sharing of the information. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Your coffee goes a long, long way. And you can be on this list of awesome people as well. If you can't do that, at least like and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that. And as the weather gets cooler, hopefully within the next week to 2 weeks, we're going to go around to some different places, and I'm going to try to get the wife involved in doing a video on expenses, and kind of so that way you get the wife's side of the story and what we were paying in the United States, and from her perspective, and coming back to Korea and what it was like. But she's like the opposite of me. I don't mind being in front of the camera. I'm a teacher. I'm an instructor. I was in the military. She's more behind the scenes, and she's real reserved. She's real camera shy. And so when people see her on some of the videos that we do, they think, man, she's great in person. She is awesome in person, but she's just camera shy. So we'll see if we can get her into a video and give her 2 cents and get her perspective of what it's like to come back to Korea after being away for decades. And the same for me, and some of the problems that she faced and I faced, that we faced in retiring in Korea. So anyway, you also see the email official, thevariedlife@gmail.com. So if you have questions about how we retired here in Korea, shoot me an email and ask your questions, and I would be happy to answer those questions for you. Turnaround time is pretty good. I'm pretty decent with that because I'm retired and spend a lot of time on the computer, so it's not a problem. So anyway, what are some of the other countries that you might be interested in? Mostly it comes from Korea and Thailand. But I think I'm going to take a look at the Philippines, because we're going to go visit the Philippines. At least that's the plan, knock on wood. And that might be our backup retirement plan, might be the Philippines. So I'm going to be looking at that and what is involved in getting a retirement visa there. And when I get all my ducks in a row, get all those little ducks, and then I'll make a video on that as well. So at least provide people with some information and some options when it comes to overseas retirement besides Korea and besides Thailand. So with that being said, I got to finish up some other stuff, but thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, the thing up there, The Varied Life. Would love to see you. And I do some other stuff, like print out miniatures and paint them, and do some fitness stuff every once in a while. Kind of slacking on that. But yeah, you can keep up to date with us, and we would really appreciate the like and subscribe to the channel. I know I would. And it would appease the YouTube gods, as that whole thing is on likes and subs. So that'll be it for today. Got a 2 for Tuesday, so you got your money's worth and then some. So we will see you on the next video. Peace. Good stuff. Thank you for the coffee.